Marvin Jones is back in Detroit. What's going on, Lions fans? Your man is back. Marvin Jones has signed with the Detroit Lions. 1 year, $3 million deal, up to $5 million with incentives. Marvin Jones essentially replaces what you had in DJ Chark. Now, they're different players. DJ Chark, I would say, is a better player. He went first to Carolina. He's got that speed. He's a burner. But they're both tall, right? Marvin Jones, 6'3", 6'4", perimeter wide receiver. DJ Chark, 6'4", perimeter wide receiver. Mostly, both of them, their route tree, they're intermediate to deep route runners. They're not much in the short area of the field. But what Detroit needed was a depth wide receiver. And what you have here with Marvin Jones is exactly that. You have a reliable veteran who's been in a variety of offenses, who always seems to have a good, strong rapport with his quarterback and can play on the outside of the formation, run routes as the number one X receiver, and can replace, let's say, Josh Reynolds is out with an injury, or Jameson Williams struggles to come back from that knee, or maybe he has issues there. He can jump in, be a starter for an entire season if you need it. Is it ideal? I would say no. He's more of a complimentary option at 33 years old now. He's not the same player as he used to be. Last year in Jacksonville, I would say from a production standpoint, he had his worst year since really his earlier days in the NFL. Like, he's clearly slowing down. And his reps in Jacksonville also slowed down a little bit. But, he still provided the last 3 years. In Detroit, Jacksonville for 2 years, he provided 16 games, 16 starts, 17 games in Jacksonville. And then last year, 16 games. Okay? So, the guy's reliable. A lot more reliable than a DJ Chark. He's not going to give you the high-end, big play, downfield production that maybe DJ Chark will. The plays will come in a different manner. Marvin Jones, of course, you guys know, if you've ever seen him play, he's going to win jump balls. He's going to win back shoulders. He's going to win contested catches. That's what Marvin Jones has been throughout his career. That's what he will be now. So he's one of those receivers that, if he loses a little bit of speed, it doesn't really matter because the guy never really separated anyway. He never really got open. Maybe when he was younger a little bit. But he's always been about, okay, does his quarterback have the trust in him in a one-on-one situation to throw it up and let him win it? Let him win that jump ball. And that's what Marvin Jones is. And I think that's one of the receivers you were missing on your depth chart. When you're thinking of a receiving core, you have to think of it as a basketball team. At least that's the way I think of it. And you have to have a center. You have to have a power forward. You have to have a point guard, right? You have to have the different body types and the different skill sets. So Amon-Ra St. Brown is the little shifty slot receiver and a good possession player, your go-to guy on third down. You have Jameson Williams, who's the burner, the speed guy, takes the top off the defense, can create after the catch. That's ideally what he is at the NFL level. He was my number one receiver in last year's draft class. I think he'll have a big year this year, as long as he stays healthy. Marvin Jones can also be a guy that adds to this receiving room, right? Because, Josh Reynolds is a bigger body, but he's not necessarily a jump ball guy. He's more of a pretty good route runner, a big slot type of guy, and he works more the intermediate levels of the field. So Jameson deep, Jameson underneath Yak, Amon-Ra underneath. You got, of course, Reynolds, who has the rapport with Goff, good chemistry there, and can kind of play all of the three spots. And you have Marvin Jones, who's an extra perimeter receiver, who's now a jump ball guy for maybe red zone presence. And then you look at it as DJ Chark, Jamison Williams, there was some crossover there. There was some overlap between their skill sets in terms of vertical speed. So it didn't make a lot of sense to retain DJ Chark. It makes more sense to maybe bring in a bigger receiver who can win jump ball, contested catches, and help you in the red zone, and also be like a voice in the locker room, an experienced guy, a great character guy, a very good locker room personality that can also be a mentor to younger players on offense and can also help, Jared Goff and this offense as a depth player. So don't expect Marvin Jones from 2020 or 2019 with Matthew Stafford, where he's the number 2 to Kenny Golladay and stuff like that. He's going to be your number 4, and he can, in a pinch, be your number 3 target in an offense, as he was with Jacksonville for much of the year. Jacksonville last year, they incorporated a lot of Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram's essentially a receiver, but he does label as a tight end. And then you also have, in that receiving room, you had Marvin Jones and a couple other guys that mixed in there. So Marvin Jones will be like the number 4, number 3, splitting with Reynolds, depending on the personnel packages and things of that nature. So I like this signing. I don't think Marvin Jones is nearly the same player coming off a season with 46 catches, 529 yards, and 3 touchdowns. The year previous, 73 catches, 832 yards, 4 touchdowns, mostly out of necessity because Trevor Lawrence didn't have a lot of guys to throw to there. And his yards per target was the lowest he ever had last year since his rookie season. So he's definitely regressing as a talent and as a player at his older age, but he can still play, especially as a guy you don't have to rely on every snap. And maybe you even get more juice out of him if you let him rest a little bit more during a game. So Marvin Jones returns to Detroit. Lions fans, let me know what you think in the comment section below. He is the receiver you were missing in your basketball team for the Detroit Lions receiving room. It's Mitch of the Bottom Line View. Thanks for watching. Gronk, spike the like button and subscribe for more Lions news and NFL content every day here on the BLV. Peace!